All right, welcome. We'll do a we'll do our practice here. So you'll start with comfortable seated posture. And in our comfortable seated posture, we will work on just settling in, becoming mindful, becoming present. And so you start by maybe just taking awareness of what's touching the ground. Your ankles, your foot, your knees just sit bones, maybe part of your thigh or hip. What's touching the ground? Just let that enter your awareness. What's touching the ground? Then take awareness to your back. We always focus on the spine a lot, so your spine's part of that, but just your back in general. Is there any stiffness or achiness or tightness? Try not to move really, but just observe that there's already communication there. How does your back feel in this moment? And then take your awareness to your hands. How are your hands feeling? Are they tight, stiff? Are they tired? Maybe you feel some nervous energy in them, like they want to move. And take your awareness to your face. How do your eyes feel? Your cheeks, your jaw? Are there any emotions that are carrying on your face? And then last awareness practice is just to take awareness to any emotions, any moods, your energy level that you're bringing into this practice. Start to focus now on feeling the inhales and exhales at the tip of your nose. And see if you can smile. If it's easy to just smile as you feel and pay attention to the breath at the tip of the nose. Good. Let your head grow heavy. You can even drop your shoulders a little forward. Then inhale, rock back to upright. And as the exhale comes, just drop your head. Be careful with this one, Billy. And let the shoulders go forward. Inhale, back up. We'll do it 2 more times at your own pace. Drop the head. Let the shoulders go forward as you exhale. Inhale to upright. Last round. Good. Turn your palms forward and stretch your hands back behind you, opening the chest. Good. Take both hands out on the diagonal over the right knee. Fingertips can touch the floor or touch blocks. Breathe. And then inhale, come back up, pull the hands back, palms face forward. And then drop the hands over the left knee. Inhale, come back. Interlock the fingers, stretch the palms up to the sky. And then exhale through the mouth. Lower the hands down. Let's do it again. Inhale, interlock the fingers, stretch the arms up to the sky. And then exhale through the mouth. Two more like that. Inhale. Exhale. In. And out. Good. Go ahead, twist your body to your right. Focus on your back muscles as you twist. Twist your body to the left. And come back to center. Very good. Let's come up to tabletop pose. You just knead your hands. Just knead your hands, like you're kind of rolling your hand from the heel to the fingertip. You're just alternating. Pushing down and pushing off with the fingertips, the finger pads. A couple more like that, side to side. Okay. Tuck the toes and send your hips back. Try to feel the stretch in your low back. Inhale, come forward. Point the toes, and same thing, send your hips back. Come back up, tuck the toes again, and we're gonna do this 2 more times. Just sitting back, doing the stretch on the foot when the toes are tucked, and then doing it again when the toes are pointed. Go nice and slow, try to feel the back stretching. Last round. Okay. Come forward now, lie on your belly. Press down through your hands and lift up through your crown. Let's hold this for 5 deep breaths. Try to relax your throat muscles, your collarbones as best you can. Good. Outstretch your right arm and roll your left shoulder up. So you're stretching the right chest and the front of the right shoulder. Be mindful and feel the sensation. Perhaps there's a subtle adjustment you can make to deepen the opening. Roll back to center and outstretch the left arm and roll onto the left arm. Breathe. Keep your awareness on the sensations of the body. In yoga, we think about this term sometimes of embodiment. What does it mean to be embodied? Be aware of not just the stories of the thoughts all the time, but just the felt sense experience. A mindful presence. Come back to center. Prop yourself up on your right forearm and hold your left foot with your left hand. You can hold the toes of the outer foot. Don't pull today, just kind of hold the foot and feel the stretch. We're cultivating what's known, you can think of it as an embodied awareness. That means your awareness can just stay present with whatever sensation you bring to it. You were just working on stretches and whatnot, but you can grow this ability to weathering sometimes deep emotions and troubling circumstances. To stay present. Right now, we're just working on the quadricep. Good. Go ahead, release that. Replace the other arm, and we'll go to the second side. You're working on an embodied awareness. So we're not demanding anything of our form. It's not really a passive stretch either. You're present. You're seeing, how can I bring my presence into a greater understanding of the opening? Why I'm asking this of my body. Release that foot down. You're going to press your knees down and bring your hips up over your knees. Walk the hands forward, and you can grab the front lip of the mat or just keep your palms flat. And drop your shoulders so that it's a straight line from your hips to your hands. We call this puppy pose. Keep the arms off the ground, just the hands. Keep breathing. We're going to hold this posture. So we can bring your abdominal muscles in a little bit to sustain the pose. When a pose starts to get challenging, our ability to have embodied awareness decreases. We want to check out. We start panicking. We start thinking, when is this going to be over? Keep your embodied awareness. Good. Come down to your forearms, making the forearms parallel. You can stay on your knees and scoot your knees back to forearm plank. If you want, you can lift your knees off the ground with straight legs. Breathe. Embodied awareness. Notice where the sensation is. And train your mind to just stay present for it, not to tell stories. Good. Drop the pelvis into the floor. Push up through your crown. Sphinx pose. Good. Make sure that low back is not pinching. You can press back through your heels a little bit. Good. Push the knees down again. Let's come back to our puppy posture. We're going to hold it about 5 breaths or more. You want to make a straight line from your hips to your hands and try to keep your hips over the knees. This time, push down with your hands and think about squeezing your elbows towards each other, like you're rolling your biceps towards the sky. Feel the muscular engagement as you sustain the pose. Keep breathing. Good. Come down to the forearms. Forearm plank. Knees can be down or legs can be straight. And drop the pelvis. Push back through the heels as you raise your crown. Good. Last round. Push back. Puppy pose. Same exact sequence. Now that the mind knows really what it wants to do, it'll be even more challenging to keep the embodied awareness. Our mind starts to go, oh, we know what's happening here. Boring. And it starts to wander. It starts to think about other things. Try to continue to find something new, something to contemplate inside the felt experience. Push your crown towards your hands so that your shoulder blades go down your back. This is how you can find a new depth to your puppy pose. There's always more inside of an asana. Our ability to be more sensitive. Come down to your forearms. And it's not just become more sensitive by trying a more challenging version of a pose. Sometimes it's become more sensitive by being more present. Lift the belly muscles, lift the base ribs up, toning the core. Squeeze the gluteal muscles as you press the pelvis down into the earth, reaching back through the heels. Extend your crown upwards. Try to feel the back muscles smoothly arching into Sphinx. If it's available, push down through your hands so the arms straighten. Mindful of your low back. Good. Breathe. Hug those low belly muscles in as you push the tail down a little more, supporting your low back. Downward facing dog posture. All the way up with the hips now. Very good. Walk the hands back until your feet are flat on the floor. You can put your hands on blocks. Close your eyes and push down through the sole of your foot evenly. You might start to straighten your legs here as you do this. Push down through the soles of the foot evenly. Toes, ball pads, heels. Inhale, come all the way up. Interlock the fingers, reach the palms up to the sky. Thank you. Pull the hands back. Open your chest here. Good. Exhale, bend your knees. Touch your fingertips to your knees. Kind of hug your hip muscles under you as you sit lower. Inhale, come all the way up. Interlock the fingers, reach up and back. Good, fingertips touch the knees, bend. Hug the hip muscles underneath you. Breathe here. Inhale up, interlock the fingers, reach up. Lean back a little bit, pulling the shoulder blades back. Exhale, fingertips on knees. Good, reach the arms up, open the palms to face up, and reach the arms out by your sides. Good, pull the thumbs back. Keep pulling the thumbs back, try to feel the stretch across the front of the chest. Two more deep breaths here. Lengthen the back of your neck. Good, arms down by your sides. Good, practice our warrior one nice and slow. You're gonna put your left foot on the left edge of your mat. You're gonna put the outer right foot on the right edge of your mat. And the leg should be straight. Rooting down through the soles of the feet. You're gonna lengthen your distance as wide as you can where both feet are flat. They're covering the edge of your mat like parallel train tracks. Okay, a little different way to get into the pose today. Just this with the leg straight, you should feel a stretch in your calf and shin of your back leg. Just on the pure distance of your stance. Okay, you're gonna pause here. Try to relax, even feeling that calf stretch, shin stretch in the back foot. Okay. Be sensitive. Listen to the body. You're going to sink the front knee as far forward as it'll go without moving your back foot. Go slow. The slower you go, the more the muscles will open to the stretch. Keep sinking through that front knee. Maybe you're aiming for the pinky toe. Your distance should be long enough. You're never going to probably cover your pinky toe. You might not even get your knee over your heel. We've got a long stride. Back heel should be anchored, stretching through the back of the back leg, feeling that front quad active, engaging. Good. Ignite your arms straight, reach them straight up into the sky. We're going to hold this shape. Keep breathing. Embodied awareness. Good, straighten the front leg. Bow over, bow forward. You're gonna kind of come out maybe a little bit on the diagonal. Whatever feels natural for your body. Hands can find the blocks or the floor. When you find the stretch, don't try to intensify the stretch. Rather become present for the details of the current stretch. Push your tailbone down through your feet and come back up. All right, step out of the pose. Just stand neutral for a second and feel the difference in the two sides. Second side. So the outer foot covers the edge of the mat, so your feet are parallel like train tracks. And today we're going to work on a longer stride, a little longer than usual, so that just with straight legs, you feel a stretch in your back calf. Keep the feet sealed on the mat, the whole sole of the foot. Mindfully present, start to send your front knee towards the front pinky toe. Slow. Let the body open to the stretch. Keep rooting through that back foot as the pose deepens. Once you have found the pose, breathe, sustain the effort. Straighten your arms in the sky. Long warrior one today. The effort comes from the long hold and keeping a steady mind. Good. Straighten the front leg. Bow. However your body wants to bow, keeping both legs straight over the legs. Practice embodied awareness. Send your tailbone down into the floor and rise up. Step out of your pose. Good job. Let's do a wide-legged stance with your heels covering the back edge of the mat. Wide-legged stance with the heels covering the back edge of the mat. You can put your hands on your hips and slowly sink your hips forward. As you sink your hips forward, make sure your toes don't turn out. The outer feet should be parallel and sink the hips forward. Feel a stretch through the groin and inner thigh area. Keep a calm nervous system. It's part of this practice. Interlock your fingers behind your head and lift your gaze up to the sky. Good. Shift your hips back and bow forward, hands to the floor or to a prop. Try to feel the release in your low back. Feel it uniform and distributed through the whole back body. Keep breathing. We're going to hold this a few more breaths. Bend your knees if it feels right, or keep your legs straight and push down through your feet to roll up to standing. Turn your left foot out so the foot covers the long edge of the mat, the outer edge of your foot. Bend your knee, just like we practiced warrior one, you practice warrior two. You slowly send the knee towards the pinky toe. You should have a long enough stance where you won't ever get over the pinky toe. You might get over the heel. Otherwise, lengthen the stance even more. Good. Stretch your arms straight out so your feet and your arms are along the same edge, back edge of the side edge of the mat. Good. Try to lengthen your fingertips. Lengthen your wrists. Lengthen your elbow. Lengthen your shoulder. Lengthen your collarbone. Stay with the pose. Stay with the whole sole of the foot on the earth. Good. Drop the hands down and straighten your front leg. Pull your right hip back and start to tilt your body over the left leg. Stop when you feel a stretch in the inner right thigh or under the leg. Just stay there, hanging the body. Good. Now, as you stay here, perhaps the body can continue to tilt. We're not letting the shoulder fall forward. You're keeping your shoulders in the side plane, just like we worked on. Good. Rotate your left palm. Point the fingers down and point your right palm up. Triangle pose. Be embodied. Feel the whole physical form on the mat, experiencing the pose. Inhale, back up. And turn that foot back wide again. You can step out of the pose and just stand in mountain. Notice the difference between the two sides. Good. Take a wide stance on your mat again. Heels cover the back or side edge of your mat. Make the outer feet parallel. Put your hands on your hips and let the hips swing forward. Knees kind of straight if possible. Hips go forward to feel a stretch in the groin. You don't want to feel any pinching in your low back. You want to hug your hips under you as you lift up. Interlock the fingers behind the head and lift the gaze skyward. Exhale, bow forward. Let your hands come to the mat or the prop. Try to stretch out the low back, which was just contracted. How do you stretch it out? Find the sensation and just stay present. You can draw your low belly muscles in a little bit to help open the low back more deeply. Press down through your feet to rise up or roll up. Go ahead and turn your right foot out so that outer edge covers that long edge of the mat. Long stance. Back foot shouldn't move. And then bend your knee toward the pinky toe. Solidify your feet. It would be a long stance warrior 2 today, longest you really usually practice. Extend the arms out. So everything's in that long edge of the mat. Reach out through the fingers. Elongate the wrist. Elongate the elbow. Elongate the shoulders and collarbones. Keep breathing in the pose with a uniform embodied awareness. Straighten the leg. Relax your arms down. Slowly tilt the body until the stretch becomes active. Don't intensify it with effort. Grow the awareness through detail. Turn the right palm. Lift up the left arm. Triangle pose. Inhale, come back up. Step out of the posture. Good. Have your feet about shoulders or hips distance apart and let your knees come together. Draw, squeezing the knees like you were holding a sheet of paper between your knee. Keep sinking down. The low back should be long, sending the tail down through the heels. You can let the arms hang by your sides or rest them on an imaginary countertop. Breathe. Stay with it. Inhale, extend your legs straight, lift your arms straight up to the sky, pull your belly muscles in. Let's come up on our tippy toes. Deep inhalation. And exhale, drop them back down, knees touch, hands out on the countertop. Sink your tailbone down through your heels. The knees are squeezing a sheet of paper. Yes, good. The feet should be about shoulders distance apart. This is so good for our skiers over there. Release that IT band. It gets so tight from skiing. Inhale, come back up, tippy toes. Lifting up tall. Lengthen that knee joint. Pull your belly muscles in. Last one, feet flat, knees touch. Sink into it. Good, come all the way down this time. Come back up here in a second, come down to kneeling pose. With the toes tucked. The toes are tucked underneath you. You're gonna sit back, send your sit bones towards your heels. Now some of you are gonna get there, that's great. This you might use your blocks for support or keep your hips a little lifted. Sitting back on your heels possibly. The toes are tucked, so we're stretching the sole of the foot. Yeah. Breathe here. My embodied awareness has a lot going on right now. This pose has a lot to say to me. My feet, my knees, my hips. What is your body saying? And you hold an embodied awareness. Good. Come out of the posture. Let's come down to our hands and walk the feet back some. Let's do a pigeon posture, bringing the left knee forward and the foot slightly across. Not too much, just a little bit across. You want to hug your left hip under you as you sink down lower in the pose. We're going to keep our hands flat on the mat, and we're going to keep our arms straight if possible, so we're nice and upright. You're going to work on keeping that left hip coming under you as you walk the right leg back. Okay, listen carefully. Keep your left knee is forward. So walk your right hand forward. Then lower your right elbow. And now turn your shoulders left. There's a lot here. Stay here in the embodied awareness. Both elbows down. Let your forehead perhaps fall toward the floor. Inhale, come up. Tuck your back toes and step back to the full forearm plank. Legs are straight this time if you can. Good. Walk the feet in and lift the hips up. Dolphin pose. And then come back to the hands. Bring the right knee forward and the foot slightly across. Pigeon pose on our second side. Bring the right hip under you as you slide the left foot back. Palms are flat today, arms are straight, so we're lifted up. A little deeper. Good. Walk the left hand forward because the right knee is forward. With the left hand forward, lower down to the left elbow. Turn your shoulders to the right. Both elbows down. Hang your skull. Tuck the toes, step back, forearm plank. Good, drop down to the pelvis. Sphinx pose. Reach back with your left hand and hold your left foot. This time, you can pull with the arm a little bit, deepening the quad stretch. Turn. You're holding the left foot with the left hand. Turn your gaze to the right. Breathe and feel. This is a tried and true method with attention, with focus, for clearing out your head, getting beyond your thoughts. Let's change sides. It's not the quad stretch. It's the embodied awareness that I'm talking about. The pose doesn't matter. It's the ability to appreciate the presence. You could apply it to anything. As you pull on the foot a little bit, you're going to turn your gaze to the left this time. Relax that leg and just rest on your belly a moment. See if you can rest in a way where your forehead is flat on the mat, but you're not crushing your nose. Then extend your arms straight out. Keep your forehead on the mat and lift your arms about 3 to 6 inches off the ground. Hold it and breathe. Relax. Take your arms by your hips or your hands by your hips. Put the palms flat on the floor. And then again, make sure your forehead's on the mat without crushing your nose. And lift your arms about 3 to 6 inches off the ground. Hold the pose and breathe. Come back down and rest. Were you able to appreciate the embodied sensation? Or did your mind enter a state of thinking, when will this be over? Let's try the sequence again. Arms out in front, forehead stays on the mat. If you want this time, you can just count your breaths as a way, or count the length of your breath as a way to keep the mind focused. Try to stay with the sensation, arms up, forehead down. And relax. Reach the arms back. Same thing, lift the arms, forehead stays down. Relax down. And push all the way up and back. Child's pose, sitting the hips back towards the heels. Come on forward to tabletop. Plant your right hand flat. You have 2 options. You can turn, you can kickstand, don't move the knee, but turn the right foot out off the right edge. And then extend your left leg straight back. Or you'll extend both legs and then turn the feet, stacking the feet for side plank. You choose which one you're going to practice. Try to line yourself up, shoulders on top of each other, hips, feet, and hands in one straight line. Work on lengthening out of your right shoulder. Lengthening your neck, lengthening your elbow out of your right shoulder. Good. Second side. Try to stay in one line. And then lengthen your neck and elbow out of your left shoulder. Breathe. Hold an embodied awareness, like you can see and feel your whole form in space, existing in this present moment. Feel the details of sensation. Come back down. Good. Find your blocks if you have them. Push up and go ahead and step your left foot forward. Walk the foot forward any amount. And take the knee nice and wide if that feels good to your hip. And then walk the back knee back any amount. So you've got a nice long stance, much longer than usual. And wide is okay today as well. My knee's not even over my heel yet. Like we've been working on all class. Now that we're in the low lunge, sink the front knee forward. Level 2, either way you'll have hands on your weight on your hands. You can extend, once you've sunk the front knee as far forward as it'll go, lift the back knee straight up and hold the pose. It's like plank. It's very much like forearm plank with your left leg forward in lunge. The pose looks like a plank pose with the leg out. And release back. Good. Let's take our right leg forward and wide. A few moments, breathe. And keep the knee back today. Walk the back knee back in a nice, really wide stance, as more than usual. Blocks are in line with your front foot. And then slowly just bend the front knee. As deep as it'll go. If it goes past the toe, your stance was not long enough. If you want level 2, you're going to straighten that back leg. It's basically plank pose, and you've stepped your right foot forward. That's what we're working on today. Stay with it. And get that front knee further forward as you push back through the back heel. The downward facing dog. And come forward, mountain, or forward fold first, sorry. Inhale, come up. Good. Turn your right palm out or right thumb out. Put your left hand on your head. Let the weight of the hand draw the head away from your right thumb. Breathe. Enjoy the details of present sensation. In yoga, this field of awareness, of consciousness, is called the Akash. The Akash. And your body is like a field called the Setra. And a yogi's awareness stretches through this field of awareness, of consciousness, until it finds a way to be at peace under all the circumstances. Let's go the other side. We stretch out the left hand, let the right hand and skull fall to the right, opening the whole left neck. So your awareness is learning to be at peace in these different shapes. We're not denying sensation. We're not even denying difficult sensation. We're just learning to be an embodied presence, regardless of sensation. The postures bring this opportunity before us, and then we practice. Coming back up, back to center. Good. Let's do a mountain posture. Turn the palms to face forward. Press down through the feet. Reach down through your tail. As you reach down through the tail, move the belly muscles back into the low back. Lift up through the back of your skull, so the chin softens down. Breathe in the mountain pose. Hold in good alignment. Staying present. Shift your weight over to your right foot and bring up the left knee. You can hold it in both hands or just one hand while the other hand touches a wall. Try to keep your arm straight so it's like a hammock supporting the knee. Breathe here. Good. Lower that foot down. Shift the weight over and go to the second side. Stay with it, even if you lose balance. And back down. Tree pose, again using the wall if you'd like. Shift to the right foot, bring up the left. Rest the foot against the standing leg. Breathe. Try to let the mind open. And just experience the whole pose. It's so easy to grow distracted. Learn to just lengthen the breath and feel the body. Second side. Learn the ancient wisdom to just lengthen the breath and feel the body. Relax back down. Once again, come down to kneeling pose. This time you'll point your toes and join the knees together, separating your feet. You'll start to sit back and sit up. If you want to support your hips, you can. Otherwise, you can actually let the hips float or sit on the ground. We'll just be here, being in the sensation of the pose, Virasana. If you're not feeling enough sensation in the pose, just this is very easy for your body, you'll actually sit back and start to walk your hands back, maybe getting your shoulders or head to the floor. If there's no sensation here for you to, again, eventually we train the mind to not need a sensation in the body, to just be present. But a yoga class is about giving the mind something to gather all of its attentiveness, so we are not in a distracted mind state. Inhale, coming out of the pose, cross the ankles, and sit back. Stack the ankles and knees on top of each other, or the opposing ankle and knee on top of each other. Relax your head and shoulders. And just sort of drop, opening and feeling the stretch of the back. Let your hands or fingertips come to the floor. So your consciousness is called the chit. And you blend it with the word akash. You have the chit akash. is your field of perception. Your field of perception, the Chittakash. As a yogi, we are learning to be present for the Chittakash without necessarily needing to change it. Find a deep peace in just the joy of existing and knowing. Let's change our legs. Change your, switch sides. The same thing, you're just humbly letting the body round forward, observing, appreciating the Chittakash. Inhaling back up. Slowly lie on your back. Bring the knees towards the chest. Just resting the hands on the knees. You can put a little prop under your head. And just let the weight, don't pull, just let the weight of the legs, the thighs, descend towards the body. Rest the feet on the floor and let the knees drop open. Rest your hands on your belly. Try to just observe the Chittakash, the field of perception. Just appreciating, knowing this experience. Take the left knee up and over the right, gently letting the hips twist. Come back. Take the right up and over. Come back up. And slide the legs out long on the mat. Rest your form. Stretch your body and take a comfortable seat. Namaste.